remaining in the third quarter. Pittsburgh leads 17-10. Pittsburgh has the ball at the 20-yard line. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
KMOL-TV, Channel 4, San Antonio.
Now the Steeler defense holds Houston after they lost the ball in a fumble, did the Steelers, and then on the punt started at the 50-yard line. But the steel curtain too tough, and Pittsburgh leading 17-10 now has improved its field position out to the 20-yard line. Franco Harris to the 23-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 7. Curly Culp. Robert Brazil on the tackle for the Oilers.
The responsibility very clear-cut for the Houston defense. They'd like to get another turnover, or at worst, force a punt from deep in Pittsburgh's own territory. But one of the things that has always amazed me about Pittsburgh is their ability to drive the ball long distances, to control the football. And they've done it today with third down conversions. They're going to try and do that again, eat the clock, maintain their lead in the second half.
Bradshaw has thrown the ball well. It's a play action. Screen. And Cunningham drilled by Art Stringer, who read that screen very well. And it's a loss of a couple back to the 21.
Chance to watch the play from the end zone. The play was never really there. It looked like it was read too well to be anything but a short shot. Stringer just doing a great job. Also, Curly Culp read it from the inside. We saw him break up one earlier in the day, I believe on the same play. Coming back on this side now, Webster, number 52. He's the man that they'd like to get in front of the play. He did his job, but unfortunately, the other linebacker, Stringer, was there to cut him down.
Webster, 5th-round pick out of Wisconsin, All-Pro. It's now 3rd and 9. There's your open man, Cunningham, incomplete. He trapped the ball. So Cunningham, who probably would not have had the first down at that spot, they needed to get the ball across the 30. But that's academic. It's 4th down and 9. Incomplete pass.
Houston is in this game because of big plays. The turnover and 7 points that Vernon Perry got for him early. And then the big pass plays to Pastorini. They've had 2 chances here in the second half. They've not converted on either one. I think they've got to get something going here pretty quick or it's going to be too late.
6:50 left in the third quarter. Colquitt to Ellender. Ellender stands at the 40. Another good kick. What a beauty. 30, 20. Oh, Ellender may have touched the ball and decided I better knock it out of bounds. What a kick by Craig Colquitt. 65 yards. His longest of the year was 66. Boy, field position really turned about on that kick by Colquitt.
And you saw Colquitt's reaction. He kicked that ball exactly where he wanted to kick it.
Houston starts deep in its own end. Now those light aircraft carrying the banners of advertisement, there are 3 of them overhead and at times dangerously close to one another. Does not seem a wise choice to have so many planes in such a limited area. 50,000 fans beneath them. We've had some near tragedies in that regard in other cities. On the field, Houston now pinned back in its own end after it enjoyed field position on the last 2 possessions. Pastorini throws for Renfro and throws it away. Blunt had Renfro beautifully covered one-on-one. Boy, he is tough. He just throws a blanket around his man on that one-to-one coverage.
A chance to watch the rush on Pastorini and the kind of pressure he's going to get. The play action fools people momentarily. Pastorini has the early go, but you see the black shirts starting to gather. Pastorini did unload that football, and wisely so. George Perlis, defensive coach, on the sideline jumping for that possible catch.
It was only 25 feet over his head. That's why Perlis has the defensive line. Pastorini started out 6 for 6. Again, play action. Dumps it off to Campbell. Looks for a block. And Earl bounces out to the 25-yard line and a first down. And Pastorini is down. As he delivered the ball, he was hit by Steve Furness.
We watched Pastorini being carried out of this stadium earlier in the year on a stretcher. Dan is up now, but he really gets leveled. And of course, the great concern from the Oiler bench is because of his injuries. How much of a beating is he going to take? And his offensive line's done a pretty good job of protecting him today, but hard to protect against the Steeler rush.
You can see the tackle here by Furness. It's not a vicious tackle. It's just that frozen carpet, when Pastorini falls, that's where it hurts. It wasn't the tackle itself, but the double penalty on the artificial surface.
They're escorting Pastorini off to the sideline now. You see again what hit him there. They're asking him about his injury. We may have to see Gifford Nielsen, who played very well, although conservatively, for Pastorini in that victory last week. Bum Phillips out to talk to his quarterback.
But what a tough assignment in this 26-degree weather when you haven't handled a football since pregame warm-ups over 2 hours ago, and then to come into a crucial game like this just to be warm, much less accurate and efficient.
And of course, the difference, as we said, in this game, the big plays have come from Pastorini, from his throwing arm. Got to wonder if they will give Gifford Nielsen the opportunity to go for some of those big ones.
Pastorini being attended to out at the 31-yard line and helped off the field, and Gifford Nielsen will come in.
Well, it's appropriate, I think, to talk about Pastorini's courage. A lot of people can't play when they're hurt, when they're in pain. Pastorini has had to do it throughout his career and has played extremely well today under pressure. And you pay a price for that, as you see here. Again, I think you're right. Furness really not trying to injure Pastorini, just trying to get him stopped. And that hard turf, the whiplash part of it, appeared to be the most damaging thing that happened to Dan on that play.
It is a first down at the 24-yard line, and Nielsen going to throw the ball right off the bat to Wilson on a little screen, and Wilson gets good yardage, almost a first down to the 34-yard line. And Pastorini, not because of the completed pass, but he says, I feel a lot better now. Get me back in.
Well, Pastorini and Bum Phillips, that entire organization, are going to feel better if they can get the ball down the field and get it in the end zone. They can if they can continue to control it as they have on these last two downs, getting those first downs, working themselves down the field.
It's a free down for Pastorini, second and less than a yard. Campbell. Fumble. And the Oilers get it at the 48-yard line. Oh, when they created this game and made it an oblong ball, they brought unpredictability into the game. And there's a case where the Steelers had it surrounded, and almost as if it had a magnetic force, it was drawn to the one Oiler in the area, Mike Renfro.
Well, I've heard it said, I'd rather be lucky and good. The Oilers are lucky. The ball stripped away right there. Linebacker Cole, I think, stripped it. Two Steelers had a chance, but Renfro right on top of it. Big play. Watch the ball stripped away from the outside. That's Robin Cole right there. Just stripped it away from him. And they had a chance. Great play by Renfro. 5 Steelers and Renfro gets the lucky bounce. First down at the 48.5. 17-10, Pittsburgh leads. We have 4.5 left in the third quarter. Renfro is knocked down, and that'll be a penalty on Mel Blount. Blount used his left forearm or elbow, and Renfro with a contact fell, and that drew the flag at the 36-yard line. Well, on the sideline, again, when that ball is in the air, you cannot touch those receivers. You hear the reaction of the crowd, but I don't think Mel Blount is going to argue with it. He realizes that he tapped him. What's the one-on-one situation here? Renfro down the sideline, the contact right there. No question about it. Good call by the official. And Renfro showed the hit, but didn't play act the thing. I think he knew the official was close by. The flag would be coming. They called it an illegal chuck. It appeared to me that the ball was already in the air and should have been interference, but it's a 5-yard penalty, and it takes it to the 47 of Pittsburgh. I'm surprised, too. I thought the ball was in the air, too, Dick. Houston, Dan Pastorini back in the saddle. The Oilers trail by 7 late in the third quarter. Campbell. And even with the power of Campbell, you could see he's just not generating that early speed that he possesses when really healthy. Well, they're trying to run in behind the blocking ability of Leon Gray, number 74, and they're just not getting those Pittsburgh defensive linemen and linebackers off the ball. Pittsburgh is controlling the line of scrimmage, and that makes it awfully tough.
Saw Steve Baumgartner, number 63, using his helmet as a chair. Second down, 8. Pastorini to Renfro. First down at the 23. Jack Lambert made the tackle, and the Oilers are generating a long march.
Except for the early drive that really was a two-play drive, the screen pass and a long pass. This is the first time they've had a sustained offense all day.
Here it is again off the play action to Campbell, and what a bullet thrown by Pastorini, catching Renfro in the seam. Lambert drifting back to make the tackle. First down at the 23-yard line. Renfro had the touchdown catch that proved to be the winner last week in San Diego. Wilson. And he powers to the 20-yard line. A gain of 3, 2nd and 7. L.C. Greenwood, 68. Dwight White, 78, made the tackle.
Jack Lambert got up limping noticeably. He's had some ankle problems. Is wearing high-top shoes to try and protect those legs of his. But they don't want to lose him. He's the main man down there.
You almost have to drag him off the field. That spot on his ankle is from the stickum that they use to try to help grab tacklers and possible interceptions. Nothing to do with the injury. The throw is incomplete to Castor, and he was wide open as Ron Johnson playing Castor very loosely. In fact, that's the first time Pastorini has gone in Castor's direction, but he was wide and out of bounds, incomplete. 3rd and 7.
Donnie Shell complaining about some of the activity near the line of scrimmage. Watch him right here. He's working on Barber. Barber a little unhappy with the way Shell is trying to hold him on the line. Does a little work of his own.
Shell saying, "Don't you do that to me." A very physical player himself is Shell. 3rd and 7 as the crowd chants defense. Wow. Pastorini calls for time.
Well, a very tough thing to do. Amazing to me, because you don't want to give up those first downs. You're behind, or timeouts. You might need them later on.
It stops the clock with 2:20 left, and this reminder that a week from today, next Sunday, we have a triple header in sports. As you can see, our college basketball coverage continues. Got a dandy for you. Purdue, ranked 8th, takes on Syracuse, 9th ranked of the country. We'll be joining Al and Billy for that one in West Lafayette, Indiana. That'll be followed by a different kind of basketball. Meadowlark Lemon, the Bucketeers. You know the fun that Lemon brings to the game. And Wilt Chamberlain also in action. And then our golf season begins on NBC, and always one of the best. Sunshine out there in Palm Desert, California. The Bob Hope Desert Classic, the final round, 4:30 Eastern Time. That's all on NBC next weekend.
Talking to the Houston players yesterday and today before the game, Dick, one of the things that they were very quick to want to talk about was the fact that they did not want a repeat of last year's blowout in this AFC Championship game. And they said, we've grown a lot this year. They've fought hard. They've worked hard to get back here. They had to come the hard way again as a wild card. And today, even though they have not played as consistently as the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have come up with the big plays. They've come up with the interceptions. They've come up with the turnovers. If they can get this one into the end zone for 7 points, they've got a tied ball game.
3rd down, 7 at the 20. Lauren Taves, 51, in as an extra linebacker. He's good on pass coverage. Only Carpenter behind Pastorini. Blitz. Coleman, he makes the catch. 1st and goal at the 7-yard line as Ronnie Coleman went over the top of Lauren Taves. And how did Pastorini ever unload that one? He was hit just as he tried to lob that high rainbow to Coleman.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have gone to the blitz to control Pastorini. They couldn't get the rusher and the pressure on him with the regular plays, but Coleman, as he did last week, an incredible catch, and as he did earlier in the game. Watch Jack Lambert here. They're blitzing almost everyone. Lambert trying to come in to shield Pastorini. Pastorini did not know that that ball had been caught till he got up off the ground. Ooh, look at that. Dirk Winston unloading on Pastorini.
With a minute and a half remaining in the 3rd quarter, the Oilers 6 yards away from a tie. It is Renfro, touchdown, or is it? Out of play.
A late call. The official did not make any signal, and now apparently has said no touchdown. He did not signal. I don't think he could see the play. He looked down the end zone line to ask a call from the other official. He did not get a call. The officials are meeting now. They're trying to get the players out so they can talk about it. They may have to get a decision from Jim Tunney.
Well, we're going to see it on the replay, and we'll be able to decide whether or not Renfro got his feet down in time. It was a tough call, and this might be a spot where an instant replay would be important.
Let's see if the feet come down. Now he's got the ball. He does clearly get inside.
It is a touchdown.
No question about it.
It was not called one, but there's no doubt that was a Houston touchdown.
Well, they haven't made a final decision in the end zone. They're still down there talking about it. Now, there's no question about this. He's got control. He has both feet down clearly in the end zone. It is a touchdown.
Of course, the officials do not have the luxury that we enjoy of seeing that instant replay. The man on the spot didn't see it, so he couldn't call it. And now the Oilers are denied a touchdown. Oh, my. Bum could just eat that cowboy hat. Mike Renfro makes a fine catch of a well-thrown ball by Pastorini, gets both feet down, but no touchdown is the call.
Sometimes the camera angles can be deceiving. Let's look from another angle and watch again. The feet, 1, 2, clearly down. There's not much question on there. There's no question on that one. It's a touchdown.
But the score remains 17-10 Pittsburgh. It's second and goal at the 6-yard line. And the Oilers overcome the bad call. Tim Wilson down at the 5-yard line, and there he is, Jack Lambert, making the tackle, hustling from behind.
Now let's go back and look at what may be the most critical play of this game. A touchdown which is taken away from Dan Pastorini and Mike Renfro because the official was shielded by number 29, Ron Johnson. I can see why he couldn't see it, but the other official has to be in position to make the call.
There's another official on the back line of the end zone under the uprights, then he should have made the call because he was not screened. No one called it, so the Oilers do not get a touchdown. Now it's third and goal at the 5-yard line. Carpenter. And with a little help, the Pittsburgh Steelers have forced the Oilers into a field goal try. So instead of 7 that they earned, now the Oilers must have to try for 3. Now there's home field advantage, and then there's home field advantage. To err is human.
Dan Pastorini trying to get it in. Throws short to Carpenter, who played so well. But right there, number 47, Mel Blount, and the sure positive tackling of these Pittsburgh Steelers makes it virtually impossible to get into that end zone when they get a hold of you.
And the Oilers get another bad break. They're now going to go from the good end of the field as the third quarter ends. Now they must try the field goal from the icy, less sure footing of the end zone to our right. Timeout, end of the third quarter, 17-10 Pittsburgh. Bum Phillips, Dan Pastorini on the sidelines, and now they'll become spectators as Tony Frisch, out of the hold of Gifford Nielsen, will try to make 3 out of what should be already 6 or 7. It is a 23-yard attempt to open the fourth quarter. And it is good. Oh, that was so critical for the Oilers. If they had missed that, Merlin, in light of their bad luck, it would have been tough for them emotionally to recover. Now let's go back to what may be a play that we talk about for years to come, a touchdown that was ruled no touchdown. As a former player, what are your feelings?
Now, Dick, I hate to see the big plays in a game, maybe the biggest play in this game, not made by the players on the field, but made by the officials. And I do sympathize with their situation. I sympathize with the fact that they are human, but this is a touchdown, and Houston, frankly, was cheated out of their 6 points, their possible 7 points, and a tie in this game. A perfectly thrown pass, a beautiful execution of getting the feet down inside the end zone. But again, the official shielded. A second official who is in position to make the call apparently was not looking. The result, a 4-point turnaround, and now, instead of being tied with a chance to try and get the football and go into the lead, they're still behind in this ball game by 4 points.
It's almost the way that Bum Phillips enjoys it, though. That's the kind of team he's had all year.
Yeah.
Through all that adversity, they've cut through and gotten themselves this far, and they're only 4 behind the world champions.
They've done it the hard way all year, haven't they? Maybe that's the way they'd want it today.
Don't forget Skag tonight. That'll be at 8 o'clock premiere here on NBC. Larry Anderson to the 10. He's out to the 23-yard line, where Guido Merkin, Steve Baumgartner, and company make the tackle. So Terry Bradshaw and the Steelers leading by 4. And you wonder how Chuck Noll will play it here. What his advice to Bradshaw has been. You keep an open game going, or as you get into this fourth quarter, are you very careful with that 4-point lead?
Well, sometimes a bad break like that, Dick, will serve to inspire a team. I don't know whether they know yet that they had the touchdown and it was taken away from them. I don't know whether they've been told.
First down from the Steeler 23. Franco, big hole. There he goes to the 36-yard line. A gain of 13 yards for Franco Harris. That gives him a total of 61 for the day.
You're going to see some great holding by Webster, number 52 on the center. Look at him drag number 78, Curly Culp, right out of that hole. And Franco Harris, number 32, up for the big gain. Watch it again. He gets on Curly's outside, an influence play. Now watch him grab him right here and pull him away from the hole, and does not get caught.
Things are going Pittsburgh's way at this juncture. A first down at the 36. Wire, no gain at all. Curly Culp perhaps angered by that last play. Elvin Bethea, no, it was Bethea who shot in from his defensive right end position.
Well, I talked to Mike Webster. He said after Culp has a bad play, he's going to come back and knock my head off, especially so when you hang on to him.
Second down.
There's what happens when you hold Curly Culp. Curly gets mad. Well, he didn't give him the blow. I thought he might on that particular play, but he didn't help to make the tackle.
He did control his area, that's for certain. Second, and call it 11. Blyer, flag down, and Blyer goes down at the 45-yard line, but we have a penalty flag back at the 37-yard line. Jim Tunney's crew is going to be written about tomorrow, so it's not a fair way to introduce them, but you're going to be hearing the names tomorrow. Tunney is the referee, Pat Harder the umpire, Tony Viteri is the headlinesman, Jack Johnson is the line judge. The men involved in the possible call of the touchdown, no touchdown, were Stan Jabbie, the back judge, Don Orr, the side judge, and Bill O'Brien, the field judge, who were the deep men.
Holding,
Pass
throwing
play.
the run, number 89, 10 yards, still second down.
Holding penalty against number 89, Benny Cunningham, on that last play. Well, the one thing I would say, again, I don't want to be the one to defend the officials, except that how can you make a call you can't see? And it's a tough thing to have to do. And again, it's a shame that it happens on a play that is potentially the most important in the game.
Second down and 20. Bradshaw changing his play. Good protection. And Vernon Perry almost had another as he was covering Lynn Swan. Swan didn't like the fact that Perry was resting on his ankle and kicked his way free. Perry had his eyes looking for his second interception.
Perry would have loved to grab that one and get another turnover on Terry Bradshaw. For some reason, Greg Stemrick is out of the lineup. Hartwig is in, but watch Perry right there. He's just waiting in his position and just hanging on down there. I think he read that pattern coming out. Swan drug his foot a little bit there. Perry reacted to that. There's a lot of emotion between these two teams.
Third down, a long 20 for Pittsburgh at its 25. 13 minutes left in the game. Bradshaw, a lot of time, and there he is at the 46-yard line, Lynn Swan, and I believe he has the first down. Oh, what an athlete.
You Houston Oilers trying to get the pressure on Bradshaw with a 3-man rush. And on a slick field like this, you cannot do it. You just can't do it. And Bradshaw will find the man who's singled up or the man who breaks from that double coverage. In this case, number 88, Lynn Swann. Big first down. Looked like maybe they were going to get him, force him to punt, have a chance to get down and get a touchdown or some points on the board. But Swann and Stallworth, or Swann and Bradshaw in this case, erase that opportunity. They're going to see if they can control the drive now.
And in contrast to Pastorini, you saw Bradshaw with all that time to throw. Harris to the 49-yard line, a gain of about 4. It'll be 2nd and 6, and the clock ticks away. 12:25 left. Final quarter here at Three Rivers Stadium, Pittsburgh, and Harris gets up slowly. Harris, such a brilliant playoff player. In fact, as we told you earlier, has outrushed all other runners in 12 of the 15 playoff games in which he has appeared, and has rushed for over 1,400 yards in playoff action, a record. 2nd and 6. Incomplete. Benny Cunningham, the intended receiver, covered by Stemrick and Perry. Vernon Perry, all CFL when he played at Montreal. First year in Houston, and a man who has introduced himself to the football public in a rather dramatic way these last 2 weeks. Bradshaw now looking at a 3rd down and a short 7.
Let's see if Houston comes with a blitz to try and get some pressure on him. They haven't been able to do it with the 3-man rush.
They have a 4-man front this time. It's Harris, and he has the first down, I believe. They spot it at the 44-yard line, and that looks good enough for the first down.
One of the things that Pittsburgh Steelers do, Bradshaw calls his own plays. He's not afraid to pass on a first down, and he's not afraid to run on a passing down. He gives it to his trusted Franco Harris, and Harris must have measured that with his calipers. Dove for the first down. They're going to measure it, see if he got it.
First down. The Steelers, leading 17-13, have another 4 downs, and that says it all. Franco.
The other thing that's happening now, Dick, the Steelers are not only controlling the football as they have time of possession through the day, they're also controlling the clock, and every tick costs Houston another opportunity to try and get back ahead in this ballgame.
And even if they don't score, they're also buying real estate and forcing Houston deep into its own end. Bradshaw again well protected. That's good to Stallworth, and the other half of that brilliant outside pass receiving team has a catch and a first down at the 30.
Robert Brazil blitzing from the right side, and number 77 Corson made a beautiful pickup right there. You see it at the top of your picture to give Bradshaw time to throw. And again, if he has time, he has such great receivers to work with. It's tough to shut him off.
Seems that he has 2 or 3 seconds more than Pastorini. He has time to look for that 2nd and 3rd man. First down at the 29. 10:47 left in the game. Pittsburgh leads by 4. Blyer, trap play. And he's down to the 22-yard line. A gain of 7 more. A very impressive drive by the world champion Steelers.
Down in the pits, it's another trap play. Corson coming across from his guard position to trap. They're getting good blocks in there from Webster. And, of course, Rocky Blyer. What a trusted workhorse he's been. Having a big day today.
What's up, cuz?
Swann is slotted left, and Cunningham splits right to tight end.
Right now. Hello.
Franco out of bounds at the 22. That'll be no gain. It'll be 3rd and 3. Art Stringer, well, true to his name, he strung out the play from his middle back position, and J.C. Wilson from the left corner to make the tackle.
I think Bradshaw has been at his best today on these third downs. He's picked up almost 80% of his first down conversions on the day. That's really an incredible day. And of course, the Oilers are not a slouchy defense either. They come right at you.
9:59 left. 3rd and 3. Pittsburgh at the Oiler 22. What a hit. Greg Bingham, the big play man in that defense, jarred it free from Franco Harris as he timed his tackle perfectly.
Interesting decision here. Got to believe that maybe Chuck Noll, well, I thought for a minute he might go for it there, but he sent his field goal team onto the field. Swan looks to be wide open down in the corner. You can see the disappointment on his face, but that pass might have been caught were it not for the great hit put on the receiver by Greg Bingham.
It is a 39-yard attempt by Barr. He missed earlier from 40 yards. Colquitt, who throws the ball very well, by the way, for a punter, is the holder. And Barr connects. And the Pittsburgh lead is back up to 7. Timeout, 9 minutes, 50 seconds left. Steelers 20, Oilers 13. This is Don Ohlmeyer, Muffy Ohlmeyer, the lady with a hat, Pat Bruni. Watching intently, we're down to the 9:50 mark, 4th quarter, and Pittsburgh leads again by 7.
And how very big that play in the end zone has turned out to be. Of course, now the Oilers need 7 points to get them back into a tie and a possible overtime in this ball game.
Here's Barr's kick as he skips it down and over the shoulder of Ellender. Ellender's trouble, and he's able to bat it out of bounds for the second time at the 12-yard line, and a flag goes down. Now, Richard Ellender flying despite an injured hip and not as mobile as he would normally be, and now a flag goes down apparently. Well, at first it looked as if Jim Tunney was saying against the Oilers, but he was just motioning come back this way.
Well, it's possible that they might be calling him for batting the football, but they're having a discussion on the sideline. Ellender obviously wanting to knock that football out of bounds, didn't want to have it recovered by the Pittsburgh Steelers. He had done it once earlier in the game in a situation with a punt down on the sideline. He did it there with the kick. And of course, the sad thing is, no matter what happens here, it's very poor field position for the Houston Oilers.
Illegally batting the ball by the receiving team during the loose ball. Penalty will be assessed on the kickoff, 15 yards and re-kick.
So a 15-yard penalty against Ellender and the Houston Oilers. Although in that regard, Houston can't come out much worse than having the ball down at about their 11-yard line, even though Pittsburgh now, unless they decline the penalty, or they don't have a choice apparently of declining the penalty.
Well, it would almost seem that the Steelers are being penalized for an Oiler penalty here. They would obviously like to see the football in the possession of the Houston Oilers right at that spot. You can see him batting the ball. He's not allowed to do that. And obviously the Steelers wondering why too.
They have declined the penalty, and it will be first down Houston at the 11-yard line.
Ball out of bounds.
Out of bounds at the 11-yard line. So that's where the play will be initiated. So with 9 minutes and 42 seconds remaining in the game, that problem has been clarified. Pittsburgh wisely declines the penalty. Houston has it at the 11-yard line. Dan Pastorini, during this delay, stayed on the sidelines with his heavy parka to stay warm. He comes onto the field with his team down by 7.
I think the ruling there, if the man is trying to pick up the ball, he's trying to pick it up and he bats it accidentally, they wouldn't enforce it. But if it looks like an intentional batting of the ball, then it is a penalty against the offensive team, and that's the case here.
It was obvious that he was indeed trying to get the ball, swipe it out of bounds to protect. A first down for Pastorini in terrible field position at his own 11-yard line. But plenty of time, 9:42 left. In the last possession, Pastorini led his team the full distance of the field to an apparent touchdown. When the call was not made by the official, the Oilers settled for 3.
The Oilers really have had 2 drives during the day, but again have had to rely on the big play. They need Pastorini, they need his throwing arm, and they need a big play right here to get him going.
Campbell and Wilson with him in the backfield. Castor on the wing right. Reverse to Castor. Gets nowhere. In fact, Castor almost fumbled the handoff. Robin Cole, 56, and Jack Lambert, 58, made the tackle.
One of the things you're not going to do very often is fool this Pittsburgh Steeler defense. They're a veteran defensive team. They have excellent speed. Watch right here, Dick. Here's what you talked about. Castor almost lost it right there, but that's Robin Cole, 56, and Jack Lambert, the 2 fine linebackers teaming up. He had no chance.
They do tackle you well. A long way home for Houston. 2nd and 10. Screen to Wilson. And what a play out at the 16-yard line by Cole again. There were 2 blockers on him. He was able to fight his way through and make the tackle of Wilson after a short gain when it appeared Wilson had big yardage ahead.
That's the kind of play we saw earlier for big yardage and near this same part of the field. Again, a little bit of play acting. Get everybody inside. Dump it off to the running back. Watch it right there. Cole just gets enough of the leg to take him down. 3rd and about 4.5 yards to go. And this is a very desperate situation. It's not over yet, but if they don't get a chance here, it might be.
From the 17-yard line, Carpenter to the 31. Loren Toews showing you why they like him on pass defense in Pittsburgh. He ran right with Carpenter, chased him down from behind, but not until number 26 Carpenter has a first down at the 31.
Pittsburgh Steelers insert Toews on passing situations because of his coverage ability. But Rob Carpenter comes up with one of the big plays that have been so familiar for him in the last 3 weeks. And as we said, that's not quite a do-or-die situation, but almost.
We're at the midpoint of this 4th quarter. 7.5 minutes remain in the game. Pittsburgh 20, Houston 13 the score. Screen to Wilson. 2 Steelers there. Dennis Whiston, 53, made the first contact with Donnie Shell, 31, securing the tackle.
One of the things that a quarterback has to do, and this is a play ago, has to look over that rush. You see all of the arms and all of those big bodies. That's especially difficult against the 4-man rush. Not so tough against the 3-man rush. Of course, Pittsburgh employing 4 big linemen, get those arms up in front of Pastorini. I think he's done a heck of a job today getting the ball on target as often as he's put it there.
Terry Bradshaw, his team is in front by 7. 2nd down and 8 at the 33 for the Oilers. Screen again. L.C. Greenwood slowed the play down, and only Wilson's desire to gain yardage gets him out of a hole, and he picks up 2 to make a 3rd down and 5. Robin Cole makes still another tackle along with 67 Gary Dunn.
When the running game is not going, the play action passing is not very effective, and Pastorini is continually faking the run. I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers are even worried about that. They're going right after him.
They spot it at the 35, so make it 3rd and 6 for Houston. Double wing formation. Coleman in the left wing. They like to go to him. Instead, it's Guido Merkins who fumbles, and the Steelers have it. Merkins had the catch. Is the ball dead? The ball may have been blown dead. No. Donnie Shell came up with it. Still no official signal that the Steelers have the ball. Merkins, the 3rd-string quarterback, emergency wide receiver, caught it, hit hard, fumbles. We have a timeout, 5:46 remaining. Pittsburgh with the ball and the lead, 20-13. For the second time today, the Steelers on a Houston completion have forced a fumble and have it now at the Houston 45-yard line.
We talked about how slippery that ball is on a day like today, and we have seen it bouncing around a great deal. It ended up in the hands of the Pittsburgh Steelers on what appeared to be a very big first down catch for the Houston Oilers.
We'll see that play again right after this first down effort by Bradshaw. He needs only a field goal to all but put it away. 5:46 remaining. Franco gets a couple of yards to the 43. Let's go back. Pastorini to Guido Merkins. Now, some of you may have wondered whether or not Merkins was down when he fumbled. Here's the answer. It's another great throw by Pastorini. Look, off balance, he throws flat-footed, drills it right to Merkins, and it's just a matter of Blunt stripping the ball away. Renfro almost got it, but Donnie Shell, 31, recovered for Pittsburgh.
And it's another example of the very physical tackling and the very physical defensive football that these Pittsburgh Steelers play.
Second down and 8. Quick toss to Harris. Harris down to the 37. It'll be 3rd and 2. Jack Lambert's defensive unit has played with its typical toughness, and they've forced some turnovers when they didn't appear to really be there.
I have to say, though, if I were picking my player of the game right now, it would be Pastorini. I think he's been the most impressive player on the field.
Under tremendous pressure, Pastorini may have never thrown the ball any better. Cold, 26 degrees. He's hit his targets. He has been the offense. They've had no running game. 3rd and about 2.5. Big play for Houston, trying to stop the Steelers. Bradshaw going deep. Blyer, 17-yard line. Mike Reinfeld on the coverage. That's just a matter of Blyer so wide open. It was an easy completion.
And the pass, a finesse pass, had to be lofted over the head of the defenders. Bradshaw again has tremendous time, but look how he hangs the ball over the top, lets it drop right into the hands. That's a fine catch by Rocky, too. He does his job as well as anybody around. Reaches low for that one, scoops it in, protects it.
Oh, with 3.5 minutes left, Bradshaw has the Steelers deep in Houston territory, leading 20-13. Blyer. All the way to the 10-yard line. There are 50,000 plus seats at Three Rivers. Most of them have not been used today. Half this crowd has been on its feet since the opening kickoff.
Now Rocky Blyer taking advantage of the fact that this Houston defense trying to make the big play right now. So pepped up that they're almost over pursuing. Stringer running out beyond the play. Blyer cuts in underneath it, a la Franco Harris.
Down to 2 minutes and 50 seconds as Bradshaw now has it second down and call it 2.5. Blyer to the 9-yard line. It appears he's short of the first down by a yard. Art Stringer made the tackle, but all the time the clock is running. 2:28. The Steelers, unless Houston calls time, do not have to run a play to the 2-minute warning. Let's see if Houston stops the clock.
I didn't know that Rocky Blyer was this fast. He seems to be getting faster rather than slower. Comes to the outside, gets around a block by Franco right there, and it's a great pursuit from the inside by Art Stringer that stops him. But it's a very short third down situation. There comes Bradshaw to the sideline to talk it over with Chuck Noll.
So the Oilers let 30 seconds run off the clock after that play. They did not use one of the timeouts. We'll see how critical that is. 2 minutes remaining in the game. Timeout, 20-13, Pittsburgh. And that Super Bowl victory is worth $32,000 per man, and the Steelers can taste it, and they know how well it's digested as they are now at the 9-yard line of the Houston Oilers, 3rd and 1. One of the reasons Houston didn't call time there, remember Pastorini had to call time earlier in this half, so they have only 2 remaining. 3rd and 1. The Oilers have to gamble defensively and stop Bradshaw. Harris. First down at the 5-yard line. Clock is running. 1:48, 1:47. Franco Harris gets 3 yards plus and a first down.
And again, watch the cutback by Harris. The pursuit out in front of him. Harris just merely times his cut, lays in under the pursuit, dives for the first down. Very, very big play. They're eating the clock up. 1:28 left to go.
84 yards now for Franco Harris, as he's been the top runner in the game, but that comes as no surprise. Down to 1:19 left. Harris again, no gain. Curly Culp finished off the tackle, but the man down low is Andy Doris, 69. Time, Houston stops the clock. 1:07 left. Well, is there any hope for the Oilers? We'll get Merlin Olsen's answer to that when we return right now with a break in the action here at Three River Stadium. The Steelers lead by 7, 67 seconds left. The Pittsburgh Steelers will beat the Dallas Cowboys. Super Bowl at Miami last January. Chuck Noll has them just 67 seconds away from a trip to Pasadena. Earl Campbell all but shut out by the Pittsburgh defense today. The Steelers are down at the 6-yard line, 2nd and goal, and the Oilers have only one timeout left. 20-13 Pittsburgh. Harris to the 4-yard line, and time called by Houston with 1 minute, exactly a minute left.
And you obviously try and strip the ball away in a situation like this. You ask about a chance. They do have a chance, but they've got to get a miracle right here. And I don't know, maybe Bum has run out of miracles in this season.
He certainly has gone to that magic lantern many a time and rubbed it just the right way. 1 minute to go. Timeout. It's 3rd and goal, Pittsburgh. The Steelers in front. Pittsburgh, the city of champions, were the baseball Pirates and the football Steelers. And they have it 3rd and goal outside the Houston 4-yard line with exactly a minute left, and the Oilers cannot stop the clock. Blyer, touchdown! And the Steelers are on their way to Pasadena.
Fitting that Rocky Blyer carry that touchdown into the end zone to put the 6th on the board. They'll go for the 7th, but everything is behind them now. They've got this game in their back pocket.
Barr kicks it through. Teddy Nathanson, our director, George Finkel, our producer. That series of pictures really told the whole story. The joy of Pittsburgh and the disappointment of Houston.
A quick shot again. Some fine blocking in there. Number 63, Tom Dornbrook over there to make a beautiful trap block. And again, this Pittsburgh team will trap you every way but loose. They trapped that one right into the end zone. Terry Bradshaw, a very happy young man. He has had an outstanding day today.
Merlin, as we have a moment here, I want to thank and congratulate Commissioner Pete Rozelle of the National Football League and his capable staff for all of their support during the course of the year, and to all of the teams and front offices that have made our job so pleasant. Our sincerest thanks. It's been a marvelous year, and one that we've enjoyed thoroughly.
We may also have given Commissioner Rozelle something to think about with that end zone replay, and I know how difficult that particular pill is to swallow. They do not want to take the responsibility off the field. I can understand that, but it's tough. Again, when the big play in a game is made by a touchdown in the corner, although that last touchdown kind of makes it a little academic, doesn't it, Dick?
27-13. The kick comes down to Rob Carpenter, who runs it out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Of course, the clock stops as soon as the play is dead anyway, but Carpenter heads for the sidelines, and now it's a matter of just 49 seconds before these Steeler fans really celebrate. But wait till this year. Yep. Terry Bradshaw The Steelers, Mike Adamle, will be in their locker room. Hear their comments in victory, and I'm sure one of them will be the great respect that they earned again after playing Houston.
Talking about Houston, I think it's only appropriate to talk about the great season that they have had. Now, you talk about fighting your way into these playoffs as a wild card 2 years in a row, and today giving the Steelers, who are the champions, everything they can handle. I'm really impressed. I think they're a great football team.
Tim Wilson complete, tackled immediately by Donnie Shell. And you know, the Oilers, win or lose, are going to have a big party at the Astrodome. The fans down in Houston, some 47,000 showed up last year after they lost here in Pittsburgh. And they're planning the same type of get-together to say thank you to their team after today, whether they won it or lost it. And it's to be commended. Those Houston fans are as vocal and as supportive as this Pittsburgh group. Complete to Barber. And with 14 seconds, 13, 12, 11, the Oilers with 2 great victories to get here. But again, the favored Pittsburgh Steelers have proven they are the class of the American Football Conference. The final score, the champion Pittsburgh Steelers 27, the Houston Oilers 13. Thanks to Barney McGinley, Tim Fogarty here in our NBC booth, Coach Sam Rutigliano, and our congratulations to the American Football Conference champions, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Thanks, Joe Costanza, statistical work. Franco Harris, Terry Bradshaw, that defense, the steel curtain, other than the long interception touchdown by Vernon Perry, they technically kept the Oilers out of the end zone.
And I think one thing you have to know about these Steelers, they've been working all year to get back into that championship game, that Super Bowl game. They really weren't even very loud and noisy in their locker room that